What is up, guys? Wunzy Gaming back here, and I put out a rotation video, and I'm not gonna lie, I wanted to get that out there quickly. I wanted to get it out before the holidays. I had a lot going on. That's why there haven't been a lot of uploads over the holiday season. My daughter's birthday, and then I had the holiday itself, and the New Year. I hope everybody had a safe holiday as well. I had to re-record this whole video because the last one, the data was corrupted, but I put the information out there without doing the full amount of research. Those of you that have been around know that's not what I do. That's not typically what I do. I really like to go the ins and outs, try different builds, go against the grain. Anybody can go on to Icy Veins or Wowhead and be like, what's the best optimal build? And then go there and it might not work for them. For instance, we got the Hunter to 60, by the way. There will be videos of that coming out, I promise you. But we got the Hunter to 60 and everybody's like, Marksman, Marksman, Marksman. I personally like BM. I'm much more of a BM player. While my Hunter's not in normals or heroics yet, as far as like the raids, the Castle Nanthria raids, I am in Raid Finder in there, and I'm always in the top 4 in the DPS. Now, I understand it's LFR. There's a lot of people that just aren't really trying, but there are a lot of tryhards, full sweats going in there just trying to get it done, and my Hunter's never out of the top 5 as BM. I really like BM. It works for me. So that's why I feel like that's for everybody. There's specs for every class, every spec, whatever. So we're gonna go into more detail in this video here. I do apologize for that first one. I'm gonna leave it up just because hey, I put the work out there. We're gonna leave it up there. But this is the one that's gonna be a lot more accurate and a lot more telling. We're gonna go into more details as far as conduits and stat priorities. We went over stat priorities in the last ones. We're gonna go over everything again. So the talent build that I am going is the same talent build that I was in the last one, the Demon's Blade build with the Blind Fury and Demonic. Personally, just think this is just a build that really suits me. This is the build that I ran a lot of in, or similar to, in Legion, and it's one I'm most comfortable with. Those of you that know, I played a ton of Demon Hunter Legion, released a ton of videos. That's where I got a lot of my views from, was Legion. And we're trying to kind of get back into that. Expect videos for the Hunter coming up, and then we're leveling a Druid right now too. She's 55, I believe. So I go resto there because that's PvP. I don't necessarily like DPS PvPing. I love healer PvPing though. I think it's just a ton of fun. So this is the build we're going with here. I know there's the Glaive Tempest build. We're going to be trying those builds out. I really want to play with Essence Break. I leveled with Essence Break, loved Essence Break, and I think, don't quote me, but there's a build that we can do with this. Once I get the Castle Nanthria memory, which I'll get it. I haven't been able to raid because of the holidays. But my guild will be full clear normal very quickly, and then we're in heroic. Pretty much, I think we're 6 of 10 in heroic. I'm not 100%, but there's a build I want to try with this. So stay tuned for that. That's coming. But we're gonna go over the conduits here. So the conduits that I am going, pretty cookie cutter for the first like 3/4 of it. And then it goes into, down here, we'll go into that. So I am with Pelagos with the Kyrian. I went with the Repeat Decree, which makes your decree hit twice. Your Elysian Decree, which is like your Covenant ability, makes it hit twice. The second one hits for 35% damage. This is huge damage. You're going to see it when we do the AoE testing for this build. It's huge. I went with the Blur, reduce cooldown. Blur, an amazing ability. I think people don't use it enough. You got to use it in your Mythic Pluses, use it on your raids, help your healers out. Not only does it give you dodge percentage, but it lowers the damage you take, all damage you take, by 20%. That's just huge. I use it pretty much as I can on pulls just to help my healer out that much more. I think it's just is a beneficial thing that you can intertwine into your rotation. That's going to help your group. It's going to hurt your DPS a little bit. You're going to lose a GCD, but it's going to help your group. I went with Cleanse Vestments here. Of course, I'm an enchanter on this character, so Cleanse Vestments is where I'm going to go. I just pretty much sell the cloth, and then I use the enchanting mats. And then this is the one that I have 3 conduits that I want to try out here, and we're probably going to do all 3 of them in this video just to knock them out. But Relentless Onslaught is the one I'm using right now. Chaos Strike has a 6.5% chance to trigger a second Chaos Strike. I believe if you get the higher eye level version of this, like the heroic one, which is the 191, don't quote me, but I believe it goes up to 7.5%. I could be wrong, but I believe it jumps up a percentage per. I mean, I could look into it, but that's pretty much what it is. Now, the ones I want to try in this spot is Dancing with Fate. I love this one. The final slash of Blade Dance deals an additional 13% damage. So I want to try that one because that's big damage there, and Blade Dance is something that you use on cooldown, especially when you're Metamorphosis. We're going to go into the rotation here in a second. And then Serrated Glaive. I think this is one that you definitely use, that you definitely use for Mythic Pluses. I think it's just massive in Mythic Pluses. I think this is the best Mythic Plus one by far. I think this is the best single target one, Relentless Onslaught, the one we have. I think it goes without saying, obviously. But I think for Mythic Pluses and AoE pulls, Serrated Glaive is the one you want to go. So let's just go straight into the rotation now, and then we'll beat up some dummies and see exactly what we got going on. Now, before I get ahead of myself too much, stat priority. Stat priority hasn't changed since the last video. You want to get crit on basically everything you can up to 34%. 34% is when you're... Okay, let me break it down a little further. When you get to 24% crit, you accrue a 10% basically like loss per crit chance that you have to go towards a crit percentage. I hope that makes sense. I hope I'm explaining it right. When you get to 34%, that 10% doubles to 20%. And then 44%, it goes to 30% or whatnot. But 34% is the good threshold. At that point, that 20% loss that you're getting per crit rating is not worth it. I hope that makes sense. Then what you're looking to do, ideally, you want crit on every piece of gear, and then you want haste. You want haste and versatility. Those are the same. I personally prefer haste because I'm going Demon Blades. Demon Blades obviously is going to benefit a ton from haste because the more auto attacks that you're swinging, the more chances you have to proc that 60% to get additional fury. So that's kind of the main thing. I know that Demon Blades also does shadow damage. That's not the big thing here. You're really looking at that fury generation because it's the only fury generation you really have outside of I-Beam, but you need fury to activate I-Beam. So there's that. You got Immolation Aura too, of course. But anyway, Mastery at the bottom. Mastery's okay. It scales extremely high on Demon Hunters, so you don't even really need a lot of Mastery for it to go further. But it's the bottom as far as stat priority goes. It's not terrible. It makes your Chaos Strikes and your I-Beams hit harder, but it's not the most. It's not something that you should be prioritizing, okay? Now, as far as the rotation goes, it's basically the same single target and AoE target. Now, keep in mind, regularly I am topping DPS meters, especially in AoE pulls. That goes without saying. But even single target pulls, I'm able to hang with a lot of the heavy single target classes, especially even those that have higher gear level than me. Currently, I'm a 193. I have the tier 2 legendary. I can upgrade it to tier 3 this week. I'm still debating if I want to do that or if I want to save my Soul Ash to make the Castle Nanthria one. I think that's where we want to go because that's just the Chaos Theory is the one I'm talking about. It's just the better legendary, and it's the one I really want to try out. And so we'll get that this week. I have to decide if that's something that I want to do. Anyway, rotation, typically, as you're running forward, you can do a Throw Glaive. This is an optional right here. I have the rotation kind of here just for visual. You can optionally throw a glaive. Now, if you have the conduit that increases your I-Beam damage with those that are hit by Throw Glaive, you're definitely going to throw glaive. But you don't have to throw glaive if you don't want to waste the GCD. You can just Fell Rush in if you would like to. I personally like the Throw Glaive, Fell Rush, and then immediately pop the Immolate when that comes off. Now, the reason why you pop the Immolate is you're going to get the Fury. It's going to give you enough for I-Beam. If you proc off that first or second auto attack, which you should have by the time these GCDs come off, you're going to be able to I-Beam just off that Fury alone. But you do want to throw your Covenant ability on the target if you are Kyrian, at least. As far as the other Covenants, I'm sure you still want to do this as well because you want that to be off cooldown. So basically, it's Throw Glaive, it's Fell Rush in, Immolate Aura. I'm going to drop my Covenant ability, then I'm going to immediately go into the I-Beam. Now, while my I-Beam is going, when it's almost at the end of its tick, I'm going to cast Blade Dance. The goal is to get 2 Blade Dances and 1 I-Beam Metamorphosis. So if you are in the demonic tree, if you are running this talent here, demonic, you want to be able to squeeze 2 Blade Dances in that demonic to make the most out of it. And the way you can do that is by using your Blade Dance right at the end of your I-Beam. And we're going to go over that on the rotation here in a second. Then you're going to spam your Chaos Strikes, and you kind of want to make sure that you have enough to do your last Blade Dance. Now, there are going to be instances where you just get really bad RNG, you don't proc your Demon Blades, and you don't have enough Fury to do your last Blade Dance. It's okay. As long as you can proc the Blade Dance while you're in the demonic, even if your demonic falls off up here, you're still gonna gain the effects from the demonic, the increased damage. Then when you come out, you're going to go into Metamorphosis, because this is going to reset the cooldown on I-Beam and Blade Dance. Now, that's the part that I did not go over on the last video. I apologize for that. Completely just skipped my mind. I had it in my notes. It skipped my mind. Now, you might be asking, why is Throwglaive here? Throwglaive, you're going to weave in between your Chaos Strike spam while you're in Metamorphosis here from the I-Beam if you don't have Fury. You can use a GCD to do a Throwglaive, because it's gonna happen where you're not gonna have Fury every single time. So you can do a Throwglaive in there. Single target, it's not crazy, but like in AoEs, of course, you're going to be throwing your Throwglaive as much as you can when you don't have the Fury. That's the ability you should be using when you don't have the Fury. And then, of course, Metamorphosis, you're going to prioritize your Blade Dance, try to use it off cooldown. Then you're going to be Chaos Striking pretty much. You want your I-Beam to be used whenever your Fury is low. Like, you know, if you need to replenish your Fury, because I-Beam's going to give you a full Fury bar. Or you're going to use it, you know, when your Metamorphosis is running out of time, you can use your I-Beam as well to keep your Metamorphosis up for those extra 6 seconds that it gives you from Demonic. Pretty cool. When you couple it with the I-Beam Legendary, which I have, there is a chance, the 20% chance that your I-Beam doesn't accrue a cooldown, which is huge. So we're going to do just 2. We're going to do an AoE pack, and we're going to do a single target pack just to kind of go over the rotation. I'm going to have to pause the video in between because we'll have to wait for cooldowns and whatnot. But you'll see the amount of burst, especially with that conduit that I was showing you guys. That conduit that allows us to hit twice. The burst is just nuts. So we're going to go ahead, and without ado, we're going to go. We're going to Throwglaive, Spell Rush in, and then I'm going to immediately hit that. We're going to drop our Decree, and then I'm going to I-Beam. Now I have a trinket here that's going to give me haste. So right at the end of the I-Beam, I used the Blade Dance. I think I used it a little late there. So there, nope, I was able to get it. Okay, there, boom, and then we're going to go immediately into Metamorphosis. I'm going to I-Beam again, pop out with the Blade Dance, and then we're going to Chaos Strike. As you can see, the burst here, I'm going to Immolation Aura again. Immolation Aura, one of those things you want to keep up as well, because it's going to help you just with Fury and Fury generation. And I'm just going to keep going. So as you can see, I'm weaving in my Throwglaives. I'm weaving them in when I have nothing else to do. I got my Blade Dance, there it is. So right now I have nothing to do. I'm going to pop my Trinket, it's going to give me haste. Just waiting, there's a Chaos Strike, sweet, boom, boom, Immolation Aura. You're just keeping an eye on your abilities. You're just keeping an eye. So right there, I prioritized a Throwglaive over a Chaos Strike. That was not the right move there. I just was looking. So there's my I-Beam again. I'm just going to use it again. It procced. My Blade Dance, boom. And you can see in AoE pulls, we're pulling pretty big DPS here. We're going to pop out Immolation Aura, boom, boom. My Elysian Decree, we're going to hit it again. So there I used the Throwglaive instead of the Chaos Strike, only because I had the Blade Dance coming off cooldown. But as you can see, just big DPS, big AoE DPS. But by this time, these things are dead, and we were doing well over 8k DPS. You know, nothing here is gonna be a lot, unless on a high Mythic Plus or whatnot. But that's pretty much the rotation there for that. Let's go ahead and test that same pull. So we ended with about 8.1k, if I recalled there. It's going down obviously because there's ticking damage there. All right, so now we're going to go ahead and do the single target test. Now, I was going to hit this guy over here, but I'm just afraid of splash damage here. There's definitely going to be splash damage with Throwglaive and possibly the Decree, possibly the Immolation Aura. So instead, we're just going to go ahead and hit this guy over here. I know the armor ratings on this are not as good, but as long as we use the same target for all the tests, it should be just fine. We shouldn't have any splash damage here. So we're just going to go ahead and do it with the single target. Now, single target rotation is the same thing that I normally do. I will go ahead and start with a Throwglaive. I will Fel Rush in, I'll Immolation Aura, and then I'll immediately drop the Decree right into the I-Beam, into the Blade Dance. So we're going to activate the Blade Dance while the I-Beam is still going off in order to get 2 Blade Dance in 1 I-Beam. So without further ado, let's go ahead with Throwglaive, Fel Rush in, Decree. We're going to go ahead and pop our Immolation Aura, and then right into our I-Beam, and before it's over, boom, we're going to go ahead and do that. We're going to spam our Chaos Strikes. So here, Blade Dance, boom. I went ahead and threw a glaive in between the GCD there. I'm going to do another I-Beam here just to get full Fury, and then we're going to Chaos Strike spam. Now that's 6.5%, so that there I messed up. I messed up already. I wasn't looking at my Blade Dance, so we're going to pop our Trinket, get the haste going. We are not getting very good procs here for our Fury at all. So there we're getting okay. So I'm weaving the Throwglaives in there. There's our Blade Dance. There's another Throwglaive. There's our Chaos Strikes. But we are not getting good Fury procs on this single target. Now, I'm not sure. The 6.5% on the Chaos Strike, it's not a high percentage at all. I probably should have I-Beam there. We'll try to get the I-Beam here. We're going to weave our Throwglaives in. There's our I-Beam. And same thing. Oh, and our I-beam proc. So we got a double going here. I-beam there. Decree. I'm gonna I-beam right out of it. Probably should have waited for that blade dance, but it'll be okay. We'll go ahead and do our Chaos Strike. We're doing 3.4k right here. This is all unbuffed, obviously. Single target damage. We'll do this for a little bit longer. We'll go to 350k. 350k damage. Really bad luck with the Fury generation in this one. This is the downfall of Demon Blades, guys. You're seeing it live. You're seeing what's happening here. This commentary I'm doing while I'm doing the rotation. Typically not the best way to do this kind of commentary. The best way is typically to record and then commentate over, because it's kind of hard to pay full attention to it. But I wanted to do it off the fly. It's what I used to do back in the day. Forgot how difficult this is. So, but yeah, really bad Fury generation for this test. It looks like we're gonna be under 3k. It definitely looks like we're gonna be under 3k. Let's go ahead and do one more I-beam rotation with the Elysian Decree. Just see if we can get over 3k. So we're gonna be able to get our double blade dance. All right. So we did 2.9k on single target there. Not great. I do believe that that we will do higher with the blade dance one. I also think that this was heavily affected by our Fury generation in that one. So let's go ahead and change the conduits and then come right back here, and we're going to do the throw glaive with the I-beam first, and then we'll do the blade dance one. All right, so we got our conduit changed. We have the throw glaive that's going to increase the damage taken from I-beam. I'm actually really excited about this one because I feel like, as far as upside goes, especially in Mythic Pluses, this one has the most upside for my current build, especially because I have the legendary that kind of coincides with this one. Let's go ahead and see what happens. Now, this is all RNG as far as legendary goes and our Fury generation, but I'm excited to see. So with our AoE with the Chaos Strike conduit, which I believe is the more single target focused conduit, we did 8.1k DPS on this pack. We're going to follow the exact same rotation. We're going to incorporate our trinket here, which gives us 636 haste. We're going to do everything we did for that one. And we're going to see how much. I believe we did 2 Elysian Decrees in that one. So we're going to do just double Elysian. We're going to go until we have double Elysian Decree, and we're going to see what happens. So let's go ahead. Let me just read the conduit again one more time. I open up with the enemies hit by throw glaive. Yeah, okay. So we're going to go ahead. Here we go. Without further ado, we're going to throw glaive. We're going to go in. Boom. We're going to go ahead and immolation aura, and here we go. So let's go ahead and see. We're going to go ahead and pop our trinket right off the jump. Oh, I almost messed up there. Luckily, because I popped my trinket there, we were able to keep it going. 9.2k is not particularly great. We're going to go ahead and right into Metamorphosis. Boom. We still had our throw glaive proc on them. So that's what I forgot to do was the meta right off the bat. I kind of wanted to wait for a second I-beam there, but we're going to wait on our throw glaive. This I'm trying to keep a different buff up here, which is it's what's throwing me off here. We'll throw glaive there. We have blade dance coming off cooldown. What I really need is a fury generator right now. Here we go. There we go. We got some good procs. Here we go. We're going to go ahead and I-beam out of this. I-beam. Big damage. Big damage. Oh boy, we got the double I-beam. We're going to go ahead and do that again. Just back it right up. 7.2k. We're doing considerable less DPS with this build though. So I'm wondering. Let's see. Yeah, we finished with 7.6k there. 7.6k, so not that far behind the Chaos Strike build, but definitely not as high as the Chaos Strike build. That's interesting. That actually is very interesting to me. I want to do more testing here. It could have been that I held off on the Metamorphosis a little bit there because I was debating if waiting for the I-beam was the play there, and then really utilizing like a triple I-beam, if that makes sense. May have been the wrong move. But that's interesting test there. That's very interesting. Let's go ahead and wait for this Metamorphosis cooldown, and let's see exactly what this does on our single target here. I don't think this is going to perform as well on the single target at all. But remember, our single target test for the Chaos Strike conduit we did have very, very poor rage or fury generation. I keep saying rage generation, fury generation. So, all right. So let's jump into the single target. We're just waiting for the last few seconds of this metamorphosis. I'm going to definitely be using metamorphosis just right off the bat when after my second blade dance from the I-beam happens. Unless we proc a second I-beam, then I'll just go straight into the second I-beam and then we'll go metamorphosis into a third. Hope that makes sense. It's difficult because this is a different conduit, so it's difficult doing. It kind of changes the rotation a little bit, but without further ado, let's go ahead and fire away. And we'll go ahead and immolation, and boom, right into there. We're gonna go ahead and pop the trinket again, just like we did the last time, and right into metamorphosis. Pop our immolation aura. We're going to prioritize our blade dance. Keep our Throwglaive debuff on him with the fury. So we're proccing a lot better fury this time around. I can already see it. We're keeping an eye on our cooldowns. You know, we got I-beam coming off in 8 seconds. Okay, so there, I spoke too soon. I spoke way too soon with that fury. I'm going to wait for I-beam here. I could have jumped straight into and started doing Chaos Strike spam, but I wanted to prioritize that I-beam there, especially with the Throwglaive debuff on him. And I believe we went to about 400k damage in that last one, so we're gonna do the same. We're gonna try to keep these as transparent as possible. There's our Elysian Decree again. Drop it. There's the Throwglaive. Right into the Blade Dance. I think the Blade Dance one's gonna be the best one. Looking at the damage and looking at all this stuff, I think that the Blade Dance one might be the best one. Right into the I-beam while he's got the Throwglaive debuff on him. We're not going to get double Blade Dance there, I don't think. Yeah, we're not. We'll just keep going. We got plenty of time left. Plenty of time left. I believe we hit a triple decree on this guy the first time we tested, so again, we want to keep things as transparent as possible. Blade Dance here. Not really much to do. We're going to wait for the I-beam. So again, I'm waiting on the Chaos Strike there because I want to hit the I-beam. We're going to Immolation Aura. Probably didn't need the Immolation Aura there because we have the second I-beam. You know, our legendary procced, but it's okay. Three K. Okay. So 3k DPS. So slightly better in the single target. Now we did 2.9k. I know it says 2.9k right now. There is a dot ticking on him. Slightly better in the single target than the Chaos Strike Conduit. So very interesting. Very interesting. I thought that would be the other way around, but we're going to go ahead and test the Blade Dance one, which is the one I'm most excited about. That's the reason why I chose this one to be the last one. So let's go right into that. All right, now we have our Conduit on, the one I'm most excited about to try, which is Dancing with Fate. I'm curious if switching out at least this Repeat Decree, I don't think this is the right play at all, but switching this one out with Relentless Onslaught or the Serrated Glaive might give more. We're not going to do that because I really think this is the standalone best one that I could have at the moment, except for maybe the Mythic version of that. I'm not 100%. I know I said earlier the Heroic version was 191. On these, yeah, brain farted there. We'll erase. But anyway, this is the one I'm most excited about. The Final Slash of Blade Dance deals an additional 13% damage. This is especially great with First Blood because it decreases the Fury cost, but it also increases the damage to 2504 against the first target struck. So we're going to see even more damage, especially on the single target. I'm anticipating that not only is this Conduit going to give us more DPS on the AoE, but it's going to give us more DPS on the single target. Now, it has to beat the 8.1k for the AoE to beat the Chaos Strike Conduit, and it has to beat 3k to beat the Throwglaive on the single target. So, without further ado, we're going to go straight into this one. All right, so I had to stop the recording. Well, not stop the recording, but pause. I was going through my rotation, and I'm wondering why the AoE is so bad. I'm like, why is my AoE so bad? I didn't use Metamorphosis like one of those people. I just was very dumb right there. Like, I was like, what is going on with my damage? So anyway, we're going to go back into this. I think we got everything off cooldown. Trinkets off cooldown. Everything's good to go. Wait for my Fury to go to 0, just so we're on the same page here. We're at 0 Fury now. Again, we got the Conduit going. Whoops, wrong one. We got the Blade Dance Conduit. So without further ado, throw Glaive in. Here we go. So Immolation Aura, Decree, right into our I-Beam. Go here. I'm going to pop my Trinket right there. So right off the jump, I'm just going to Metamorphosis in. I cut the I-Beam a little early there. I probably didn't need to do that, but it's okay. We're looking at the burst here is pretty good. This is a solid burst. Solid burst. 8 out of 10. But I don't know. I don't know. I think it's falling behind the Chaos Strike. It is. It's already falling behind the Chaos Strike. The Chaos Strike Conduit is beating this one out right now. It's just flat out beating it out. So we're gonna incorporate the Throw Glaive in there just to, yeah, look, I mean, it's just flat out winning. Immolation Aura. We're about to lose our meta. We'll Decree in there. So 8.2k was where it ended there at the end of the Decree. That's where I stopped. The first one was at the end of the first Decree. So honestly, it was a low 8.2k, but it did technically beat out the Chaos Strike, but I think the Chaos Strike might be the better individual conduit. They're all super close, so this is good too because it's showing that the conduits aren't insanely good. They have a lot of upside. I think the Elise and Decree one is the one you have to go with because it's 100% going to happen. I like this Blade Dance one too because it's also 100% going to happen. No matter what you do, you're going to get that increased Blade Dance damage. But it looks like for maybe if you want to roll the dice, that the Chaos Strike Conduit might be the best one to go. So we're going to go ahead. We're going to do our single target test here. I anticipate that this one is also going to be the best one in this one. I could be completely wrong. I do believe it's going to beat the 3k off the Throw Glaive. We'll see, though. Again, this is without any buffs, without any raid buffs or anything like that. So we're just getting a raw look at this. But I think this will also beat the 3k individual that was set by the Throw Glaive one with the I-Beam. But we'll see. Again, it's so hard to do this testing with this legendary because this legendary can literally pop off and just go insane, especially on that AoE pack. You get a few of those procs where the I-Beam doesn't go on cooldown and nobody's going to catch you. It's not going to happen. You throw your Decree down there, you start doing some I-Beams, it's not happening. Nobody's catching you. Not going to happen. So we're going to wait for this cooldown and then we're going to jump straight into single target testing. All right, cooldown is just about up. We're going to go ahead and jump in and go ahead and knock this guy out. Again, I anticipate this is going to be the best all-around conduit, but could be completely wrong. So I'm going to do the same thing I've been doing. I know, oops, we did Immolation Aura there first. Shouldn't affect it, except we are not getting any Fury generation. Wow, that was really bad Fury generation. It wouldn't affect anything there that we missed that we put the Immolation Aura first in front of the Decree. The only thing that it would put there is that sorry, one sec. Trying to focus on this rotation here. We're just not getting Fury generation again. Same issues that we had before. Just trouble with this Fury generation. Look at this. I think it might be high time that they look at the 60% and maybe bring it up to 65%. I know if you guys remember, if you played Demon Hunter back in the day in Legion when they first came out, I'm going to wait for I-Beam here. You know that when it was 70%, it was broken. Actually, wasn't it 80%? I don't remember. I prioritized Chaos Strike there instead of the Blade Dance, which was wrong. Come on. Come on. We're going to hold our Immolation Aura here. Just because I'm going to want Fury. I thought my I-Beam proc there. It didn't. That's why I held the Blade Dance. I wanted to do a triple Blade Dance there instead of a double. It did not proc, so that's my bad. That's all me. But you could see the Fury generation we're kind of in trouble here. The Fury generation just is not there. We're doing a lot of kind of dragging our feet here. Here we go. We're going to hold this Immolation Aura again. So we're going to be able to do a triple or a quadruple blade dance. I'm holding this I-beam here because I want to do the blade dance. And we'll see if we can get this DPS up just a little bit more. We're going to do one more decree and then we're going to call it. So again, weaving those throw glaives in because just it's going to do more damage than our auto attack. But here we go, Elysian Decree. All right, 2.8K. All right, so now we're slipping through dimensions. I know it's crazy. It's just random and whatnot. I just I had to take a phone call there at the end of that video. 2.8K for the single target with the blade dance. So surprisingly, all the numbers are gonna be up on the screen right now, but it looks it's super even. Honestly, I think the blade dance one is the best one for all around. One, it's just a straight all around damage increase, and then two, it was extremely conducive. I had really bad fury luck there, and that was the same on the throw glaive and actually the chaos strike one for the single target. I think fury generation on single target's rough with demon blades. I'm probably going to figure out another move with that and try to figure out a different build and whatnot because it's just not super consistent on single target. I wish that there was like a ability on the talent. This is something that I think they could do to balance it. I know that back in the day when it was 70 or 80%, whatever it was, I don't remember exactly. They didn't want that because it was broken. They said it was too much. It procced too often. You basically never ran out of fury. But maybe if they do something where, like, if there's not another enemy within X amount of yards, that the percentage goes up 5, maybe 10%. 10% might be too much, but that's something that I would love to see them change to demon blades. So, like, as it stands right now, your auto attacks have a 60% chance to deal additional shadow damage and generate fury. I'd love to see that say something like, if no other enemies within 10 yards, your auto attacks have a 65 or 70% chance to deal additional shadow damage and generate fury. I don't know. I think that would help it on bosses because that's definitely the weakness, but that could also be, why it's like that, because they're like, look, you're going to sacrifice, your single target DPS. I don't know. Well, see, you wouldn't think that an ability like this would suffer on single target. You'd think that would be where it would actually prevail. But it seems like in the single target, test, we were much more fury starved than we were in the AoE test. Now, what to expect going forward and what we're going to be doing, we're going to be pushing to get some of the powers that I want to test. I want to test the Collective Anguish power, which is casting I-Beam summons an allied Vengeance Demon Hunter who casts Fell Devastation. I want to get that. That's a Castle Man 301. And then, of course, Chaos Theory. Blade Dance has a 30% chance to grant your Chaotic Blades, increasing damage of Chaos Strike by 50%. This one I really want to get because this is one that you can, I think we could switch out the conduits around and have the two really good conduits running. Not 100%. I want to test that. I should be getting that. Today is, by the time this recording, it's Wednesday. We're going to run tomorrow. I should have it tomorrow. But be ready for that. And then we're going to try just different builds. Like I talked about in the previous video, I love Fellblade. Fellblade is one of my favorite abilities that Demon Hunters have. And I'd love a Fellblade Insatiable Hunger, Glaive Tempest kind of build. I really want to try out Cycle of Hatred. But the big one is Essence Break. I'm telling you, I think Essence Break has a place. I really do, and I really want to test it out. I used it in leveling, and it was amazing. It costs 0 fury. It does a pretty good amount of damage just for an instant cast 0 fury spell with a 20-second cooldown. Just that in of itself is strong, and I really think there's a build for this, and I can't wait to test it out. Master of Glaive is just, it's there. I don't think you change this for PvE. I see some people run Fell Eruption. Fell Eruption and Unleashed Power to me are very clearly PvP abilities. Even Master of the Glaive is a PvP, great in PvP, but I just think, come on, stuns are just better. And then Momentum, I really want to play around with Momentum, especially with that Vengeful Retreat cooldown and the 80 Fury that you get from doing that. Momentum's one I want to play around with a lot. I leveled with Momentum as well. So we'll be getting into those as well. Let me know down below If you had any questions or concerns, again, I want to thank you guys. I wanted to give a shout out to those that commented on the first video and pointed out some of the things that I missed. That was 100% my bad. I'll take accountability for that. People look for these guys to get answers or different viewpoints, and that's what I'm trying to provide here. I know this is more of a cookie cutter build, but trust me, we got more coming. I got a hunter video on the way, and then we got a druid video after that. Restoration Druid is the most simple thing I've ever seen in my life. It's haste.wow.com, basically. You just want haste on everything. So it's just really that simple. Like haste, versatility, basically. That's pretty much it. I mean, we're not gonna get into this. Isn't a druid video. We're not gonna get too much into it. But I hope you guys did enjoy this. Please go ahead and hit a thumbs up. Go ahead and subscribe. We're on a road to 1K. You guys have no idea. Thumbs up and a comment, they go so far for us. Like, it just helps the algorithm, helps the YouTube algorithm. Hope you guys have a wonderful day. Be kind to each other. There's a lot going on in the world right now. It's pretty shitty. I'm not going to even sugarcoat that. It's a shitty situation, a shitty time we're in right now. But just be kind to one another. Let me know what kind of content you guys want to see. We're working on the third 60. We're going to jump right into the fourth one after that. I want to get every single class to 60. So I hope you guys have a wonderful day, and I'll see you guys at the next video.